We're here at the Neocore booth at E3 2016 and we are checking out Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. That's the long name, but we want to use just Inquisitor. Because that's shorter and because that's what you are in the game. What's your role as an Inquisitor?
Inquisitors are powerful secret agents in the Imperium of Men, so basically that's what you are going to do in our game as well. You are going to go on missions in our very own sandboxed open world sector, and you are going to tackle different missions with different objectives that you can play on random generated maps. Basically that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. So you mentioned it's an action RPG, it's open world. How does the world structure and the mission structure work?
You are going to have access to the star map of the sector that we are going to open up gradually. And when you are roaming the star map, the whole sector, you are going to see points of interest. Like a sector has subsectors, subsectors have star systems, and star systems have points of interest. And when you click on a point of interest that has that has a certain mission attached to it, then you are going to enter an action RPG map, a very traditional action RPG map with certain improvements.
What about the action itself? Because I mean, you're using some new interesting features, such as, for example, you have the cover, but then that's destructible. You have some body parts you can aim for with the bosses.
We really wanted to improve on the action RPG mechanics. We had experience with action RPGs, with the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing trilogy, and we thought that the 40k universe, where there is only war, would require different methods. So we implemented the cover system that both you and your enemies will be able to use. These are basically every part of a terrain can be used as a cover. But yes, as you mentioned, we have a fully destructible environment, which means that, well, you can blow up parts of the map, and you can blow up covers as well. So when covers get destroyed, then, well, you have to find another cover, or you have to, well, deal with the consequences. And you can basically walk around on a map dealing out as much destruction as you want. And we also have a more tactical approach to the gameplay. So instead of having thousands of creatures at the same time, we have smaller groups of enemies who are following orders, who, well, act in a more tactical way. But it doesn't mean, like, in certain cases, you might end up in a corridor filled with hundreds of creatures. It happened a couple of times where it feels like you are really fighting against the tide of chaos itself.
And with the body parts, is that just for the final bosses, or you can perhaps have a middle enemy? You have to take this into account, or how does that work?
Well, each creature can be torn into pieces. This is a 40k game, so we wanted to make it as as bloody and violent and well, as possible. But we have big bosses in the game, and the big bosses have those destructible body parts which also tie to specific abilities. So it means that if you have a large creature which has like a poison sac which emits a poisonous cloud, if you destroy the poison sac, then the creature won't be able to use the poisonous cloud ability against you. If you shoot off the weapon arm, for example, then obviously it won't be able to shoot at you.
As we saw with this final boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some finishers as well for them.
Oh yeah, we have execution animations. We have plenty of bosses planned. We have the whole 40k universe to play with. So sooner or later we are going to include, I think, almost everything that has a place in the 40k universe. It means that we have a huge variety in bosses as well, and each boss will have a different body structure, different special abilities, which means that you can destroy different special abilities as well.
That for the enemies, but what about the characters itself? The three different types of Inquisitors you've presented so far.
Inquisitors come from various backgrounds, so we always thought that they would be very good candidates for an action RPG, and each class in our game represents a different background. Now we have two characters. We just revealed the second one here at E3. We have a Crusader class Inquisitor. He's like our heavy, our tank type character. We have the assassin Inquisitor, a death cult assassin who became an Inquisitor. She is a very swift, very agile character. She has a sniper rifle. You will play very differently with her, and you are going to play very differently with each of the classes. And there will be a third class that we are going to reveal later this year.
And how does the investigation part work as an Inquisitor?
You are going to do a lot of investigations because you're an Inquisitor, and basically this is an open world action RPG, so it means that the whole sector is scattered with possible missions, but sometimes these missions lead to other missions. You can unearth clues, for example, that will lead you to another planet, another subsector, another star system. And if you are following up the clues, basically you are going to participate in what we call a grand investigation as well.
That for the single player, I guess, but you're also planning some co-op features and also a new kind of, it's not like direct PvP multiplayer, right?
The thing is that everything we talked about is available in a co-op mode as well. Each mission can be played in a co-op mode, not only a single player mode. There is just one exception to the rule. We have a single player campaign integrated into the open world, into the star map, which means that if you click on that specific mission, which is the single player campaign, for various reasons that we are going to explain in the game, that will be your very own, very personal investigation, so only you are allowed to participate. But other than that, which is like a really, really long chain of investigations, other than that, you are free to have a co-op gameplay up to 4 players. So,
yeah. And as for the PvP?
We don't have a direct PvP in the game because it would be a bit strange to have Inquisitors slashing at each other. But the Inquisition as it is, it has various factions, various orders, and they have these bitter theological quarrels. It means that with each Inquisitor having his or her fortress, the secret hideout, each Inquisitor can also attack other Inquisitors' hideouts as well. In this case, you are not going to fight other Inquisitors. We have an indirect PvP in place. It means that you are going to fight the defensive systems of that fortress. You are going to fight the groups of followers in that fortress. So it's going to be very interesting, I think.
You mentioned this is the very first action RPG of this type based on the Warhammer 40k universe. How are you taking advantage of the broader lore of this universe?
Well, we are fans of the 40k universe, so we really wanted to create a game which feels like a 40k game to the core. So we are using each asset we have basically access to the whole universe. So it means that we can create our own sandbox to make it feel like a very traditional, very integral, a very traditional 40k sector, which is, integrally part of the universe. But for various reasons, it has been also cut off from the core of the Imperium as well. So we are using source books, codices, miniatures, everything.
You've shown this game on PC. When can we expect to play this? And I'm guessing we're getting console versions as well?
Yes, we are going to release the game next year, and it will be PC first, and then PS4 and Xbox One a bit later, I think.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.